The X-Zone radio and TV show is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone radio and TV show or in any manner endorsed by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, Talkstar Radio Network, its affiliated stations, or employees.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome to the X Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, coming to you from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Worldwide, toll-free, 1-800-610-7035. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com. And our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. My guest this hour is Shea Vaughn, and we're going to be talking to Shea Vaughn about... Well, you know what? Let me tell you a little bit about Shea first. She's a mind-body expert, wellness author, and a coach and a recognized spokeswoman for creating well-being at any age. Shea is also the founder and CEO of SheaNetics, a doctor-endorsed revolutionary Eat Meets West wellness and exercise lifestyle practice, and that delivers a powerful mind-body experience that ignites your potentials to do, to look, and feel your best, both inside and out. Joining me now is Shea Vaughn. And Shea, welcome to the X Zone.
Well, thank you so much, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate having an opportunity to share my passion for health and wellness with you and your audience.
Where did you get this passion from?
You know, just as a young child, I was a dancer, and so it taught me a lot of disciplines. And I think the passion just came, I organically just kind of, you know, when fitness came to being, I just really transferred into that industry just because it was just, you know, everything that I really wanted to know about, learn about. And as time has gone by, it's really become a passion for me to really reach out to greater audiences and really help them with their mental and their physical well-being.
Do you think that people are getting more physically fit these days, or are the figures still staggering that people are lazy, people are getting fat, people are getting sicker, and they're not only suffering physically, but they're also suffering mentally?
You know, it's really funny. There's a book and a movement that is called The Weight of the Nation. And it really talks about obesity and what's really happening with our children. Almost a third of our children are obese, and 2/3 of our population is either obese or has too much weight. From, you know, not in a healthy manner, that is, you know, traveling that road, that path to obesity. And, of course, all the diseases that really come with that. So, yeah, we need to do something now. And I know how difficult it is because all the messages that we're getting, you know, from food. One of the things that I even learned is that some of the websites that we allow our children to go to, where you can play games and you think it's innocent, but the truth of the matter is it's not innocent because it's all branding. And so they're getting this message about food while they're doing, you know, playing these games. And this is just, you know, something that we need to put an end to. And I believe that there's a lot of parents out there that really don't even know this. They really don't even know what's really going on, and they think it's innocent, but it's not.
You know, it's the way our society is. You go through drive-thrus. You don't have to get out of your car anymore to go to coffee, to get a hamburger, to get whatever you want. You just drive through. You drive through to your bank. There's even drive-through funeral homes. We're a lazy society.
Well, we've become that, and it's been becoming acceptable, and I think that's one of the reasons why exercise, both understanding it from a mental aspect and also from a physical aspect, and bringing that mind-body connection together. That's one of the reasons that I developed a program that's called SheaNetics, and SheaNetics is a wellness revolutionary fitness and exercise practice, and it is about the Western hectic lifestyle that we lead, really kind of blending those Eastern philosophies and movements together, and really understanding the importance of being able to do that. The program SheaNetics actually does yoga, Pilates, Tai Chi, martial arts, gyrokinesis.
All right, we're going to be talking more about the
more.
SheaNetics program on the other side of this commercial break. Shea, please stand by. We've got to take our first break. Shea Vaughn is our special guest, X-Zone Nation. We're talking about SheaNetics this hour. www.SheaNetics.com, and I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break as we continue here in the X-Zone from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. My name is Rob McConnell. Don't go away. I've got a great idea, X-Zone Nation. Let's throw all these computer games that kids sit on their duffs in the living room and do nothing except play these stupid computer games, and out the window, break them up, send them to the recycler, and give the kids a baseball bat, a football, a helmet, a soccer ball, or get them into SheaNetics. We're brainwashing our kids. Like, I'm sorry, I do not agree, Shea, with kids who sit on their butts playing these damned video games instead of going outside, cutting the lawn, working around the house, playing football, baseball, getting some exercise. You don't get exercise from these video games.
No, and what we have is we have parents that are both working, and the thing of it is that they're doing the best that they can. But they're not getting outside and, playing with the kids or doing an activity with them. So it's like, everything is kind of that slippery, slope. But before we say any more about that, one of the things I did want to share with you is that, I was born in Brantford, Ontario, Canada.
Oh, wow. You're just about 15 miles from here.
Exactly. Yeah. And in fact, I used to come to Hamilton with my family quite a bit. And so I just really wanted to share that with you and the audience, because the area that you're in is very, very dear to my heart.
Well, I didn't know that we were neighbors. Next time you're driving by, drop in for a coffee.
We're probably related, don't even know it.
Oh my gosh, there you go. So before let's talk about SheaNetics and how SheaNetics came about and how it can actually help us.
Well, it can help you because, as I mentioned, SheaNetics is really blending that Eastern philosophy movements and philosophy really with our Western hectic lifestyle. And it helps because it gives you such a blend of exercises. One of the things in teaching that was very apparent to me is that people don't even take an hour to go and exercise, let alone go take a Pilates class here, a ballet class here, yoga class here. So it combines all of these wonderful things together. But at the heart of it, and this is really where the answers and the tools come to get us, up and off the couch and inspire us to do something different than what we're doing. And that is 5 principles that are commitment, perseverance, self-control, integrity, and love. And I want to share each one of those with you and tell you a really short story that I think is impactful, that will really help with the answers that people are looking for. Number 1, Commitment is not a New Year's resolution. After 3 weeks in making a New Year's resolution, it's forgotten. So we don't want to do something like that to give ourselves permission to fail. We're looking for those things that are going to help us to succeed. And so if you can think about signing a contract with yourself and making it impactful and saying, this is something I know that I need, this is something I want to do, I'm going to commit to it, I'm going to take a piece of paper, I'm going to write it down. This is like signing a contract with yourself, and you're going to look at that every single day to keep you committed. Perseverance is a pyramid, and you want to take one solid step at a time. But the most important thing about perseverance is that you have to tell yourself that you're not going to give up, that you're going to stick through it. This is not just one of those things that's okay if I do it or not okay. It's just you have to be so committed that you know that you're taking on something that's going to have some challenge, that's going to have some difficulty to it, and you're not going to cave in and you're not going to give up.
Wow.
Self-control is about finding the balance that we're all looking for in life. You know, we want to find that peace. We want to have balance in our life. But are we willing to accept the responsibility for it? It would be great if we could take a pill. It would be great if somebody could hand it to us. But life doesn't work that way. So we need to stand up now and say, I am ready to take charge of my life. I know I'm the only one that can possibly make this work, and I'm willing to take that challenge on. And integrity, the fourth principle, is really about checking in with ourselves. We all want to be known as being honest, but are we honest with ourselves? We're honest with others if they ask a question. But do we, every day when we're doing something, do we really check in and say, just this little thing, how hard am I trying? Because sometimes that we're only doing about 30% or 50%, and that's not going to get us to the goals that we need to get to. We need to be giving 100% of our, energy and our time to make the goals and to live the life that we want to live. And love, I can remember walking around saying, I don't love myself, because everybody kept telling me you need to love yourself. And I think there's a lot of people out there not loving themselves. And they're not loving themselves because they're not making the right choices. They're not setting the best examples that they possibly can. Because when you do those things, it impacts your life, and it impacts the people that you love, their life, and it impacts other lives. And there is nothing more rewarding than being able to do that.
So taking a look at society today, is it too late to turn everything around? Can we become a healthier Canada? Can we become a healthier United States? But what is holding us back?
We can, but we can't do it without putting some of our own time, our own energy, and our own thoughts into it. We can't keep making the same decisions. And I want to give you an example.
Okay.
For instance, usually when I teach my classes, I usually tell a story about how one of the principles affected my life or impacted for that week. And I was asking the class if there was anyone there that really would like to share something that happened to them. And Scott raised his hand and he said, I was fired last week. He said, Friday was my last day. I was working on a project that was very important to me, but the truth of the matter is I probably didn't even have to go to work, and even if I did show up, which I did, I probably could leave early and nobody cared. And he sat there and he said to himself, why should I can do this project? Why should I care? And he says, I couldn't help but to hear these 5 principles in my head: commitment, perseverance, self-control, integrity, and love. And he said, I decided to do the project and finish it. I actually ended up staying later than I normally do. And he said, I was committed to do the right thing. I persevered through it even though it was difficult. I took on the responsibility that I was only doing it for myself and probably nobody else would care. I checked in with myself and said, how hard am I trying? And I gave it my all. And he said at the end of it, with love, he said, I walked out of there not feeling bad about the fact that I lost my job, not feeling bad about the fact that I didn't have, this company to come back to. I walked out of there knowing I had set the right example for myself. I made the right decision. And he said, I felt good about myself. Do you know that 3 weeks later they asked him to come back?
Wow.
These are the things that happen in our lives when we take on the responsibility about doing the right things and not expecting everybody else to do it for us.
So it's basically something that a routine we have to get into and just persevere.
Stand up and just take the responsibility and say, this is important. You will impact your children. You will impact everybody. Look, I know how difficult it is, but I also know that some of the things that I can do is that if something is really important and I need to do it, I share it with other people. Why do I share it with other people? Because I need cheerleaders. I know when I'm going to run into them, they're going to ask me, how's that program going that you're doing? I want to be able to tell them something positive. It's working. It's working. So build cheerleaders out there. Let people know what you're trying to do. Help others to find commitment, perseverance, self-control, integrity, and love. You know, I wrote a book called The Breakthrough, which is a new book that's out, and they can find it on the website, which is SheaNetics, or most of the bookstores. It has 5 chapters in it. The last chapter is the only one that really talks about the fitness part of it. The rest of it talks about the things that we're talking about right now. It is about finding the answers and the solutions to our issues so that we can live a better life and move into something that is not as stressful as what we're living today.
All right, tell me about some success stories.
Oh, there's many success stories, you know, in the book. But I think that really what it's talking about is like, let me tell you something that's very successful. Even with myself, I'll tell you a story about myself. I tell a story in the book, for instance, that talks about we had a dog, and the dog just had a mean spirit. And it bit me, it bit my next-door neighbor, and I used to say to the kids, you know, all the time, I'm getting rid of this dog. And they'd say, oh, Mom, you're not going to do that. And I'd say, you know, I'd kind of cave in. And one day when the kids went to school, I gave the dog away. And I thought, you know what, this is going to be okay. We're going to get another dog. Everything is going to be all right. Kids came home from school. The first thing that they asked me that I wasn't prepared for is, where's the dog? The dog used to run out all the time, and I said, well, he ran away. And I see the kids out there looking for the dog, and I'm walking out, and I've got a knot in my stomach that is so painful that I had not told the truth to my kids. That had never happened to me before.
So why did you do it that time?
So I did it because I thought I could make it okay. And this is how people live their lives. They're not taking on the responsibility. It grew into something that was horrible. It grew into every time that something happened. We did get another dog. That really didn't solve the problem. The kids would say to me, Mom, just tell us the truth. I felt that if I ever told them the truth, they wouldn't love me the same. They wouldn't feel the same about me, even though I was a good mom. And later, my daughter came to visit me. My daughter, Valerie, as you know, I have Victoria, Valerie, and Vincent. And Valerie came to visit me, and she said, Mom, I want to sit down and talk to you. And my heart just sank. And she said, I'm sorry. And I looked at her. She said, I want to talk about Vero. And that was the dog's name. And she said, but I'm sorry because I never made it easy on you. I never made it possible to put that safe space out there that allowed you to come and tell the truth. And I want to tell you, she taught me the greatest lesson in my life. And that was that we all need to provide safe spaces for others. We need to have them when we do something that's wrong because we're human. These things happen in our lives. We've all made mistakes.
All right, I've got to take a commercial break or else I'm going to be making a big mistake right now. Stand by. It's News Time, X-Zone Nation, 1-800-610-7035, worldwide toll-free. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, on MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv.com. Our guest this hour is Shea Vaughn. And if you'd like more information, www.SheaNetics.com. We'll be back after the news. Don't go away. You're listening to the X Zone Radio Show, live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network, X Zone Broadcast Network, UK High Definition Radio,
Euro High Definition Radio,
and Star Cable. Our toll-free telephone number worldwide is 1-800-610-7035.
Our email address, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com.
On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com.
And our website,
www.xzoneradiotv.com.
I believe it's meant to be, darling. I watch you
now. I think I know why it sounded so strange on the telephone. Well, it's hard when you discover what keeps you going, keeps you all alone. I dream so real, you thought the smoke might never clear, and you hide it all behind endless cigarettes and tears. Somebody waits for the time, I know it never comes. You get yourself so high and you come down.
And welcome back, everyone. We've just been watching a story from our affiliates at CNN, and apparently, get ready, this is going to rock your world, Exonation, because I've been saying this for so many years now. They have found a continuance to the Mayan calendar. The world is not going to end on December the 21st. And if anybody ever thought it was going to end on December the 21st, as I've been saying from day one, give your head a good shake. It's that simple. Now, National Geographic magazine has gone into the place where they found the continuance of the Mayan calendar, and as soon as we start getting some information on that, we'll be posting it on our Facebook page and our website. But there you go. Make plans to pay your bills after December the 21st, 2012. Ta-da! I hate to say it. No, actually, I love saying this. I told you so. Exonation, Shea Vaughn is our special guest for this hour. I love this lady. I love her energy. Her website is www.SheaNetics.com or SheaNetics.com, SheaNetics.com. And before we went to the commercial break, you were telling us a story about how you...
I was telling a story about safe space, that we make mistakes and we need to have, an opportunity. If we've done something, sometimes we don't feel safe in going and saying you're sorry because you know that the only thing the person wants to do is yell back at you.
Yeah.
Or when somebody comes, to us, what's our safe space look like? Well, my daughter taught me that lesson about because of a dog that I got rid of and didn't tell the truth about. And I want to tell you what a gift she gave me when I had the opportunity to open up and say, I gave the dog away. And I just didn't want to have him anymore. He was mean-spirited, and she said to me that he meant everything to me, Mom.
Yeah.
And your heart breaks. But she taught me that. We cried, we laughed, we hugged, and whatever. And I'm so blessed to have the relationship with my kids that I do. But, sometimes we think that we're doing all of these right things and making right decisions. I have a friend that's a single mom. And she was helping her daughter with her homework every single night as she was texting. And about 4 or 5 years went by, and they were having a conversation, and Jane, the mother, was turning around saying, "What are you talking about? I was helping you with your homework every single night." And the daughter turned around and said, "Mom, you were texting." Do you think you're ever going to change that daughter's, perception about really what was going on? No, you're not.
You see,
I had a heartbreak for that mom.
See, I had a similar circumstance to your dog story. My brother and I had a dog. Her name was Queenie. And my mom told us point blank, I'm getting rid of her because she was a dirty dog. Not my mom, the dog. And sure enough, one day we came home from school. We lived in the country. Queenie would always meet us at the bus stop. This one day, Queenie didn't. We walked in and my mom looked at us and she said, I told you I was going to get rid of her. She's gone. Bang.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I was telling this story, and I was signing some books afterwards from my book that I've just published, which is called Breakthrough. And if you want to defeat stress and find total well-being and really feel great about yourself, it's just a great book to read.
I'm sure it is.
But I was telling this dog story, and afterwards, when somebody came up to have me sign the book, they said, "You won't believe this. My mom did the same thing and told us that it ran away." And she said that 3 days later, in the newspaper, the center that she had taken it to had a picture up there trying to find a home for this orphan dog.
Oh, for heaven's sake. And you see, what people don't realize,
And
when
got
you
caught
lie,
at it. Yeah.
no matter what the lie is, you're always going to get caught.
You're going to get caught.
Yeah.
And you know what? Thank God I didn't have to take this. I want to get through this life, as I say in the book, with as least, things to feel bad about, regrets in my life as I possibly can. And my daughter gave me that opportunity to do that.
What a great kid
We
you've
need
got.
to give other people that same opportunity.
But I guess we also have to give people space, and we have to trust that what we're doing with that person is important to them as important to us.
Well, if we're in the moment, how many times have we been talking, have you been talking to somebody and you kind of see their eyes gaze away over in another direction or something happen? Do you honestly feel important? Do you feel that they're listening?
Nope.
Or as engaged as you would want them to be in that conversation?
Definitely
Or how
not.
many times have we done that?
We
Not
see-
meaning to hurt, but we're just not in the moment. We can't find the answers to things if we're not listening to what's going on around us. We have so many people walking around with stress, walking around with perceptions that they believe are real. And yet all of a sudden, when they're in that moment and they're listening to something, wow, you get, hit in the stomach because it's not the way you've been walking around thinking about it for, ages.
Right.
But you know what? That's not such a bad thing. You may not like what the answers are. I can tell you all kinds of stories in the book about my own sock in the jaw and in the gut. But you know what? The thing that I will tell someone is that what it gave me was clarity. I didn't have to walk around with perception any longer. I knew what the truth was. And it allows you to put your energies and to put your thoughts into another direction, because that's how we move on with life and make it better.
You touched on stress, and in today's society, stress is a big issue, no matter how old you are. Kids in elementary school have stress.
Yeah.
College.
Wouldn't it be just great if, like a fly that's bothering you could just shoo fly it away?
Yeah, exactly.
Shoo fly the boss away, shoo fly the kids away once in a while,
So
shoo fly,
how do we deal with stress?
away.
How do we deal with stress?
Yeah, well, I am definitely a firm believer. Number one, there's been millions of books literally written on how to manage stress. And I'm a definite believer that you do not manage stress, because the harder that you try to manage it, guess what? You get more stressful. So what you do is that you give yourself a break. And giving yourself a break is, come on, let's get off the couch. Let's go, spend 15, 20 minutes and do something that's some exercise. Let's go take a walk. Let's listen to our favorite, music. Anything that you can do. Meditation is simple. Most people really don't even understand what meditation is. They think it's like going into a room and shutting the door and, lighting candles and trying to sit there and think about something. In yoga, meditation that they talk about is like concentration on your breath, that you're listening to your breath, you're feeling it, and you're concentrating on it. So directed focus. I could be looking at a doorknob, and as long as I'm focusing on that, I'm in meditation. So in SheaNetics, for instance, which is my platform and philosophy for exercise that combines yoga, Pilates, Tai Chi, martial arts, gyrokinesis, and so much more together, does meditation in motion and thought. And this is how we get rid of our stress, is that we are concentrating on it. That's our meditation mode. And as we do those moves, we're moving. So you get the best of both out of that. We We help to, get rid of the stress that we're thinking about that's paralyzing us, that many times we can't do anything, about, and worrying about something isn't going to happen. So we give it a break.
All right, let me ask you. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this before we get any further. With all the other systems out there, and God knows there are more self-help systems than you can shake a stick at. It seems that there are gurus coming out of the wall, out of the paperwork, out of the cracks of the sidewalks. Everybody knows how to solve the problems of the world for somebody else. If this is the case, then how come the world is still as screwed up as it is? And what makes your SheaNetics any better than the next guy's?
Well, because we hear people talk about what people should do, but we really don't give them the answers and the tools and the guide to help them to be able to do that. Those 5 living principles, if you applied them to everything in your life, with every relationship that you have, commitment, perseverance, self-control, integrity, and love, they are the guide, they are the tools that if you really check in with yourself, ask yourself the questions, am I applying these to what it is that I want to succeed at, or what it is that I want to change? That's what the difference is. Everybody's telling you how you should go about it, what you need to do, but they're not giving you the tools and the answers to be able to do it. It's like going and playing golf. You go, hey, go play golf, a round of golf, but we don't hand them any golf clubs to be able to do it.
Right.
You can't do it. You need to have these tools. You need to have this to be able to check in and see that you're applying the commitment. You're doing the perseverance. You're not giving up. You're being honest with yourself. You're going to walk away knowing the success that you can have from doing it all. That's the difference.
So, I've heard people like Tony Robbins talk. I've heard other self-help people talk. I've gone to many of the seminars as a member of the media, and I walk away shaking my head and saying, why can't these people solve their own problems?
Well, isn't that what you're really asking them to do with the principles that we're saying to them? Take responsibility. Here's the tools that you need to do it, but nobody can solve the problem for you. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen with relationships that go away. It's not going to happen with obesity. It's not going to happen with a job that, you can't figure out a way to make it work or get along with someone because it's always somebody else's fault. I mean, come on. We tell our kids all of these things about what they should do differently, but are we living it? Because the examples that we set for them is the most powerful tool that you can give them. That's how it's done. That's what we need to get back to, the grassroots of solving our own problems, but having, the tools and the guides to be able to do that.
I think the biggest problem that needs to be rectified is getting the family unit back together. It's putting away the electronic gizmos at the supper table, talking, communicating.
Yeah, let's not text when we're doing all that too. And how do we allow our kids to do that?
No, you see, when kids come to our house,
look at what's happening in driving the car.
You see, when kids
they all say they know it, but they're still doing it.
When kids come to our house, they have to. I don't care if you're a kid or an adult or what. You put your electronic gizmo on the table near the front door.
I love it.
You come
it's
to
like
see.
Taking your shoes off when you go in the room.
Exactly. If you're going
there you go.
I don't care.
It should be something we do.
Exactly.
And then you can share good conversations. You can be in the moment. You can find out things that you wouldn't have found out because why? You're not distracted with something else. You're focused. You're there for a purpose.
The family unit isn't as strong as it used to be because people have turned to electronic gizmos to fulfill the need and the emptiness that has been left behind by mom and dad having to work 2 jobs, or because little Billy wants a $300 pair of running shoes. Mom has to work harder or dad has to work harder. Instead of, I believe in the old-fashioned way, put kids in school uniforms again.
Okay. I definitely believe that because I was in one of those schools. And
sure.
But you know what? the schools need to really have some good programs. Look at a lot of the schools that don't even have any gym any longer.
Exactly.
You know, the uniform isn't going to do the answer. It really is the education. It's the people.
But if you
difference.
put a uniform on the kids, everybody's equal. Everyone is equal, and equality is missing in today's educational field. You shouldn't be able to call your teacher by his first name. It's Mr. or Mrs. or Miss. There's no respect. Put the Bible back in the school.
Mm-hmm.
Give us the values back, because we don't teach our kids any values.
We definitely need to have values. Those stay with us forever.
Sure.
We pass those on, and we need to have those values given to us, you know, when we're going to school, when we're with adults. I mean, this is how children learn.
Children learn by example, and the example the adults are giving the kids today is the wrong example.
Right. They need to give better examples and set those better examples by making better choices. And they're just so, you know, running around trying to accomplish so many things that I don't know what they get accomplished, probably not as much as they think. But, you know, they just need to set some things. You know, even when I tell people to go to exercise, they've got an hour. They run in and they do the exercise, and the whole time that they're in there doing it, they're sitting and thinking about, what am I going to get for dinner? I need to go here. I need to pick up the laundry.
Sure.
I understand that people are challenged with time, but I also know that they need to take control of their lives. And when they go in to do the exercise, it's like dirty dishes.
Okay, we've got to
Set
take
it
a
all
break. Please
outside the
stand
door
by. We've got to
and
take
leave
our
it
break
because
here.
they're going to be waiting for you.
All right, listen, we've got to take our break. I can't keep going, even though you'd like to. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break as the X Zone continues with yours truly, Rob McConnell. My guest this hour has been Shea Vaughn, and her website is SheaNetics.com. I'll be back on the other side as we continue, right here from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada.
The beat goes on. The beat goes on. Drums keep pounding a rhythm to the brain. La-da-da-da-dee. La-da-da-da-da. Charleston was once the rage, History has turned a page, The miniskirt's the current thing,
And there you go. The beat goes on. Sonny and Cher from way back when. As I told you in the segment before, CNN has announced today that there has been a continuance found on the Mayan calendar, which means, ta-da, the Mayan calendar does not end on December the 21st, 2012. So, guess what? The world is not going to come to an end. I'm sitting here thinking about all the people we have had on the show who have written books and who have prophesied that the end of the world is coming. Boy, do you guys ever look stupid now. More than when I've had you on the show, but I mean, really. Comes to mind Dr. Jason Rand, and well, you know what? Penn and Teller did a fantastic job debunking Dr. Jason Rand. Man, did I say Rand or should I say Paul Bondora? Maybe. Anyway, we're watching this with great anticipation. It's one of those things where, you know what? I look at you and I say, I told you so. And we've been saying this since day one. So there you go. The world is not coming to an end on December the 21st, 2012. And if you've booked a cruise to Mexico to be part of the Doomsday festivities, just enjoy your holiday. Enjoy yourself. It's a beautiful country. You're going to have a great time. People are friendly. They're very hospitable. And, you know, the Mayan runes are fascinating. They're really, truly fascinating and fantastic. But a little word to the wise. Make sure you've got all your payments made that you're not neglecting your payments because you really and truly believe the world is coming to an end on December the 21st, 2012, because it's not. Somebody's probably saying, yeah, but Rob, the galactic alignment. Well, you know what? The galactic alignment is happening 24 hours a day with different planets, and to my knowledge, no astronomer has observed the collapse of a planet or a star system because of that particular angle of the galactic alignment. So why do people think that just because it's going to happen here on planet Earth, it's totally different? Well, that's because humans, for some unknown reason, love doom and gloom. And yet these very same humans also want to believe so much in a God because they want life after death. They want reincarnation. Well, you know what? You can't have it both ways. It's either you believe in doom and gloom, and when you're gone, or that there is another tomorrow, whether it's in heaven, whether it's in another time of existence, another parallel universe. I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I may have one or two. I had the answer to the Mayan calendar. Yes, I did, didn't I, Craig? All right, we've got to skip off for now, but like I'm saying, CNN is reporting that the continuance of the Mayan calendar has been found by a group of researchers. National Geographic is in there right now taking photographs, and as soon as we get some available, we will be posting them on our website and Facebook. 1-800-610-7035, worldwide toll-free. My name is Rob McConnell, and this is the X-Zone, a place where people dare to believe it. Please don't turn my show into an infomercial. I will not stand for that. Anybody getting my hint? Huh? I'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.